Hello all and welcome back to the AT Chat. I just got done watching episode 3 of The Mandalorian Season 2. Best episode so far of the entire show. Hands down. Maybe on par with episode 3 of season 1. So this first part of this review dive in, I'm going non-scripted. We're just gonna avoid some spoilers for now. I'm just gonna kind of talk about why I feel so hyped, so high on Star Wars. And after all of the kind of hot take filled previous week on Twitter with everybody upset at an episode for various reasons, I love that this episode kind of paid off Little Yoda getting a bit of his own lickings in retaliation to what he did do in the previous episode. So hopefully if those people who are very upset, you know, and their opinions are valid about it, I'm not going to invalidate how they feel, but I think now when they see this episode, they'll be like, all right, I can pardon his crimes. And if that's how you look at it, I think you will greatly appreciate what happens in this episode. Now with that said, so much interesting stuff unfolds in this episode. It kicks off, you know, we know about the boat planet, so that's not really a spoiler, we're just there. But what transpires there, reminded me a lot of Solo, a Star Wars story. It also reminded me of Rogue One, and yeah, there were times where the show or this episode kinda had that next generation live TV vibe, which is what it is, but for the most part, this is the most consistently movie quality episode that I have watched. Everything is humongous. There are ships we haven't seen before, at least I haven't seen before. There are Imperials, there are Stormtroopers, there's chaos, there is killing. It is absolutely bananas. But the big payoff in this episode is so enormous and so important to just Star Wars in general. I can't believe it happened, and I can't believe where we're going. At least if this is where I think exactly the next episode's gonna go. Also, by the way, had no idea Bryce Dallas Howard was gonna be doing any more directorial work with The Mandalorian, so very happy at what she's accomplished with this episode. It shows that she can kind of do two different versions of Star Wars. High action intensity thriller versus kind of a more subdued, village-oriented, come-together team-up, if that makes sense. Okay. So we've talked about absolutely nothing. Most of it is still under wraps here, so we're going to be transitioning into spoilers. So please, if you haven't watched the episode, go watch it, come back. I will not be offended. And I won't even be offended if you don't watch this. I get it. Some people just don't want to be spoiled or get their opinions screwed up. But anyways, here we go. You've been warned. So the episode kicks back off with Din journeying towards the planet that the frog lady needs to get to meet with her other kind to get her eggs fertilized. And they get there. There's a lot of Mon Cala walking around, working on these docks, a lot of Quarren, etc., etc., etc. It's visually very appealing. I love the look, and I have no idea what is the volume, what's practical. It's just, this show has gone above and beyond the realism, and it's crazy that they're still all in a room, I believe. Not sure. So eventually, the Mando lives up to his word. The frog people reunite, and then Din is introduced to a Quarren who says that he knows about the covert and all that stuff. So they kind of get into a mutual agreement. They get into a ferry that is supposedly going to ferry Baby Yoda and Din Djarin to the location. However, this is the first twist. The Mandalorian is immediately betrayed for his Beskar armor, proving again just how important and expensive and how much worth this steel has in the galaxy. People are willing to trap, kill, annihilate, whatever it takes to get Mandalorian steel. And the sequence between the Quarren and the Mandalorian was pretty intense. We see Baby Yoda get eaten. You know, thank God he didn't die, but he gets eaten by this monster in the Quarren ship. They're just feeding it, and then boom, one of the Quarren slaps Baby Yoda into this pool, and this giant monster with teeth just sucks him in. Mandalorian just jumps into action to get him, but then he's trapped. They cover him with the gate so he can't get out, and he almost drowns. And guess who shows up? Bo-Katan, with two people flanking her. Looks like one's a night owl and the other one's a mystery. But they come out just like in season 3 and they save Din Djarin's ass. Now we learn a lot of interesting things here. Now first of all the rumors about Katie Stackoff being in this is true. And she's already the voice of Bo-Katan. So it's just perfect, and she already looks like her. So it's just a brilliant casting, so all those rumors were true. Awesome. Love it. And as I said, I believe the other female Mandalorian is a night owl. We'll find out. She was wearing the robes, so that's my assumption. And then there's the Mandalorian guy. And they take off their helmets, alarming Din again. And he's like, you're not real Mandalorians. However, Din isn't really the most educated Mandalorian, as we come to find out, since he's part of the Watch, right? Bo-Katan pretty much tells him straight up, you're part of a religious zealot cult, and that's that. You guys, like, she's basically saying you guys teach the old way of the warrior and all this nonsense, and that's just not the way. So initially, the Mandalorian just leaves the situation, leaves them be. He doesn't want their help. He doesn't believe they can help him, and that's that. So finally, Din Djarin and the child are sort of just escaping the situation, potentially getting off planet, and then all of a sudden, he is confronted again by some Quarren, one of them claiming, you killed my brother, because Bo-Katan and her clan laid waste to the entire little sail barge they had, most likely killing literally everybody. And what's great is the other Mandalorians again show up, Bo-Katan and her crew, and then Bo-Katan steps forward and says, no, I killed your brother. Just so snarky and so awesome. And then she just completely destroys all these other Quarren who are trying to get after Din. I mean, they are an unstoppable force, and it's very, very clear that this group will also be the group that forces Din to question what it is to be a Mandalorian. In a lot of ways, I was correct about whatever his character growth is going to be is about his identity as a Mandalorian, and if he should honestly continue to follow this very archaic version of being a Mandalorian. Keeping your helmet on all the time? Insane. And I love that Bo-Katan kind of just called him out on being in a cult, because yes, we kind of get that sense. At least I did. And I'm not saying that the covert from Navarro isn't cool and interesting, and I like This Is the Way, and I like that sort of camaraderie, but if they are just kind of a religious zealot cult, yeah, he's got to learn from that and move on and find his true path as a foundling Mandalorian. So now that for more or less Din Djarin actually trusts these folks, again, he needs to get to a Jedi, and Bo-Katan knows of one that she can lead him to. Hint, hint, hint. We kind of know who that's gonna be. Unless it's Luke Skywalker, in which case I would probably explode. But she needs Din Djarin's help in one specific mission. And while we don't exactly know what the full mission is, essentially it's to steal an Imperial vessel transporting goods. And what's amazing about this whole sequence is it just looks like a cinematic masterpiece. Like I said, this looks like Solo quality movie making, like the train heist kind of. That's what I'd compare it to quality wise, visual style. And this episode kind of confirmed to me just how brutal and unstoppable 4 Mandalorians can be against, I don't know, 30, 40 Imperial troops, an entire ship full of people ready to kill them. They annihilate everybody. And there's a scene where Din Djarin just takes a chance and runs through a hallway with his Beskar armor, getting shot by like thousands of blasters, finally throwing some detonators, taking out the remnants of the last stormtrooper wave. And yeah, this ship is great. You hear the classic siren from, you know, Imperial vessels when they're under attack, the alert. Love it. I love hearing it. It gives me chills. And we're also introduced to this character, which I only remember from the show Lost, and maybe Transformers 4, one of the worst movies on planet Earth. That's my opinion. If you disagree with me, sorry, you're wrong. But it was very welcomed. He kind of reminded me aesthetically of kind of a director Krennic that isn't in white. He kind of had the tan, gray, salty hair thing going on. He was cool. I liked him. He was a little stiff, I guess, but it was also cool seeing his crewmen, these 2 young kids in the Imperials. You know, whatever these remnants are, like maybe they are kind of poaching kids already, not sure, but they seemed super young. And in general, we finally see a hint of Moff Gideon. He is alerted to what's happening. They wonder if it's the same pirates that keep attacking his vessels, his crews, etc. And we all know why. Bo-Katan is after the Darksaber and says as much in this episode. And I love that it was mentioned. But back to Moff Gideon. It's so cool the way they played out this scene, and it's played out in a way that I wish Rogue One, that played out a lot of Dr. Krennic's interactions with General Moff Tarkin. I hate when the Moff just turns around and he looks like a CGI puppet mess. It's scary looking, it makes me not sleep at night, I have to explain to my kids why he looks that way, sometimes I sweat just thinking about it. But this, they did it well. We just see a hologram from behind, it's ominous. It's creepy, and then we do finally see a face reveal. But I just thought the way they handled this whole scene was brilliant. You know, I'm an editor. I like the way things are put together, like puzzles, and how, you know, there's breaks in time and etc. It just, to me, it felt very tense, very true to that domineering, ominous Imperial vibe that I loved from Rogue One, and I loved just in general from Star Wars when they have that vibe going on. So, to make a long story short on this last part of this episode, Bo-Katan ends up infiltrating the cockpit because they want to take this vessel for their own. That's the true mission. They need a vessel full of weapons to use for whatever purposes that they are going to be using it for. I'm not exactly clear on that. Again, I've only watched the episode twice so far. I plan on watching it again this morning, one more time. But yeah, they take the vessel right after that Moff lieutenant guy that was introduced in this episode ends up committing suicide because he doesn't want to betray the Empire or Moff Gideon, who he says, even if you kill me, Bo-Katan, or you don't kill me, Moff Gideon's gonna kill me anyways. So he just bites down on some sort of tooth that just sends an electrical charge through his body. Very cool looking, reminded me of Darth Vader getting electrocuted a little bit. And then finally, all the information is given to Din from Bo-Katan about where to go find this Jedi. Now, at the current moment, I can't remember the name of the planet. Please let me know down below because everybody else seems to remember things much more quickly. So now, Din Djarin is gonna be on his way to presumably find Ahsoka. And I think we're gonna actually see Rosario Dawson because the dudes over at Kessel Run Transmissions have basically had 0 misses on their predictions. It's been pretty unbelievable. Go check out that channel. Great two dudes, Corey and Noah. So that about does it for this review. Unbelievable episode, very cool. When Din gets his ship back, it's all screwed up and Mon Calamari'd out. It's hilarious. And it's just another episode that ends with Din continuing his quest. And yeah, a lot of these episodes are just quests. It's a quest, get to here, get to here, get to here. But that's kind of how this season's gonna be. And somebody also voiced an opinion online saying that, worried that it's gonna be more cameos and cameos. But now I feel good about there being cameos in this season because this was played off so well and it wasn't egregious, at least in my opinion, with the use of Bo-Katan, the Night Owl, and random Mando guy. I thought it was well done. So if they have Ahsoka and whoever else is coming in and they use them like this, I'm all for it. So let me know down below in the comments what you thought of this episode, Chapter 3, the Heiress. And I cannot wait for Chapter 4. I just hope it continues on this high that's going. I know that the previous episode was contentious with some folks. I don't really get it, but then again, I don't want to open a debate about the moral ambiguity of Star Wars. That's kind of a thing that should be just left on the table for now because too many people get upset about it. So, hope you enjoyed the review. Hope it was fun. Go watch the episode 1,000 times. This is The Way, and the AT-AT is signing off.